I'm going to look for anything at all that deals with, what was the first one?
S5.
S5. So that's everything with group counseling. And then what?
S7.
Then S7, because we thought that was much better than just this. And then what?
S9.
S9. And all you're doing is saying search with and. It throws it up there into the search block right there. It's doing all those searches. You do the search, and it says that there are 20. So now where maybe you didn't like the first 9, maybe you didn't like the first 13, or maybe you liked 5 of them, but you needed to have more, the thesaurus helps you to come up with other terms or phrases. It's still, you want to make sure it's narrowed down. I want to make sure that these are all research reports. So, and you can go and print your print history by clicking on print history, and it'll tell you what you have. And you'll notice what you have listed here, everything that you've done, all the searches you've done, and that, when you start doing your search, you can go and get rid of anything that you didn't like if you want. You can delete it anytime so that you're only giving your professor, the best things that you were doing to actually put together your search statement. But what you need to do is find 8 research reports or empirical studies. Another way, it's called empirical study as well, and PsycInfo is one that calls it an empirical study. And let me show you real quickly, because I think a lot of you are going to like this as well if we're doing your research. If you go to databases and indexes, subject list or alphabetical, either one, you're looking for PsycInfo. And when you look at PsycInfo, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Advanced search.
Advanced search. Click on advanced search, and when you do your searches, you can type in the same things. The only difference is that under methodology, you're going to see empirical study. And I list that at the top of page 2. Does that make sense? Top of page 2. You're going to see empirical study listed on your handout, and you would just limit it the same way, and you could do the same thing. Group counseling, and you could try children, and anxiety or depression. You can do a keyword search again, making sure it's already limited to an empirical study, and see what comes up. And you'll see they have a lot more because this topic is really geared to PsycInfo very well. 61 of them, but I do want to point out that we did not limit it to journals in PsycInfo. And PsycInfo has a lot of chapters, but it also has something called a dissertation abstract. You're not going to be able to use those for this. And so if you don't see enough that are full text here, and like you'll see this first one is not full text, but several, and this one is not, and this one is not, and here's that dissertation I was telling you about. If you want to get rid of those dissertation abstracts, and some people do, and I don't know if I listed this or not, no, I didn't mention anything on the handout, but you could, right on the advanced search page, say that you're only looking for peer-reviewed journals, and you'll get rid of, that kind of thing, those dissertation abstracts. Do your search again, and you saw we got rid of about, 6 or 7 of the articles already. Okay, so now what happens if when you're looking at these, you do not see all the ones full text that you want? Does anybody know what to do? Let's say that you wanted this one right here and it's not full text. Or a little bit later on, you see, here's one on Journal of Applied Research in Intellectual Disabilities. And then here's one in, what is it? Oh, this is a special issue in the Journal of Early Childhood and Infant Psychology. What do you do?
Let's go to Find Full Text Journals.
Okay, yeah, it actually changed its name, but you're right. He said go to Find Full Text Journals, which is what it was a year ago. And if you look at near the top of page 2, it has there called the Journal Holdings list. For some reason, people didn't like Find Full Text Journals. So Journal Holdings, you want to know what does Ryder carry. So you could just copy the name of that journal, go back to the library webpage, which you've seen before, and right underneath database and index you have the journal holdings. This is when you know the name of the journal, magazine, or newspaper you're looking for. You can paste it or type it in there and see, do we have it in any of our databases or subscriptions? And the answer to that one is no, we don't, this one. But it might be perfect. You might see that article and love that article. Okay, you're looking at this and you said, but I really want this one right here. And you click on it, you read the abstract, and it is exactly what you're looking for. And what I recommend is if you try the journal holdings and we did not locate it in any of our databases, our physical holdings, or electronic, because it does it all, then what you need to do is like the little note I have at the bottom that says, our interlibrary loan service can help retrieve articles that we don't have. So all you would do is you would take this information, you would go to the library webpage, and right on the left-hand side, you're going to see interlibrary loan article request. You just click on that, fill in the information on you, and just copy and paste the stuff right here from the article that you had open. You know, just copy and paste all the stuff they're asking for, like author, title, whatever, and then go ahead and click on the send. That will go to our interlibrary loan librarian. I highly recommend that you start doing the research right away, because to find 8 research reports or empirical studies on a very particular thing, that, you know, like the independent variable, dependent variable, and population group, you want to go ahead and start doing it now, because you might find that there are a lot of them out there. Maybe there are dozens out there, but we only have 6. So you can send off for interlibrary loan, because it can take up to 2 weeks to get it, depending on where we have to go to get it. You know, in the South, in Europe, you know, depending on that. Now, I will tell you that it does ask you to put in your email account. Email address, I highly recommend that you do that, because a lot of the libraries, as you can imagine, are doing things electronically, and we are doing things electronically. If we have something that someone else wants, we send it to them electronically as an attachment to the email. And that's what we would like other libraries to do too. We always go to libraries that can do that for us first, electronically, and do it for free. So as you can see, it says here, what are you willing to pay? You see that right there? Because some actually charge us. Some libraries will charge us to do the photocopying or even the labor of finding the article and sending it. Most of them do not. We always try to go to the ones that won't do it. I always say, if available, order without charge. That's my recommendation, and I'm sticking to it. All right? So, any questions? Yes?
Is that institutional ID our password? Or
It tells you right here, it's your Bronc ID.
okay.
Your Bronc ID number. You have your ID card. On your ID card, next to your picture, it has a number. And that's your Bronc ID number. Yep. Okay? Any questions? You feel pretty good about it? Okay. How many of you have a NoodleBib account? Raise your hands. Nice and high. Really up high if you have a NoodleBib account. Okay, so most people in here have it already. So, you know, the hands-on time is going to help with that. Who doesn't have a NoodleBib account? If you don't have it, on the end, at the bottom of the handout here, I have step-by-step instructions on how you can start your own NoodleBib account. I would be glad to work with you immediately after I'm finished here if you would like to start an account, just to make sure you know how to do it. And do you guys know about the changes on what they're asking for now with the Direct Object Identifier, DOI? You guys know about that? One of the things that APA changed, so I'm not going to show necessarily NoodleBib then, but I will show you if you go into NoodleBib, and all you do is go over to the left, click on NoodleBib, and I'm going to go into one of mine that I already have started, but you would have to start a new account if you don't have one. And one of the things you're finding is that if you go into a list you started last semester, it's going to ask you, do you want to convert it to the new APA? That's one of the things that you have to do. And if you haven't done that, then it's using the old rules, which I hope you don't stay with, okay? So when I go into any of my APA lists that I started earlier in the fall, when I first click on it, it gives me an option. It says, do you want to convert to the new APA manual? Your answer should be yes. It doesn't mean it's going to change everything on all your lists, because before this new change came, it didn't necessarily want you to have a URL at the end of a journal